Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly grow and thrive while others struggle to make progress? The answer often lies in the habits they cultivate. Success is not born overnight or handed out by chance. It's built, one deliberate action at a time. And the secret? It starts with small, meaningful shifts in daily habits. This book, Success Shift: Cultivate Growth Through Daily Habits, is your guide to transforming the mundane into the extraordinary. Through 10 carefully crafted chapters, you'll discover how to identify, build, and sustain habits that align with your personal and professional aspirations. Along the way, you'll learn how to overcome resistance, stay consistent, and adapt your habits for continuous growth. Whether you're just starting your journey or looking to break through a plateau, this book will empower you to take control of your life, one habit at a time. Let's shift success into your daily routine. Chapter 1. The Power of Small Shifts. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the thought of changing your life? The idea of completely transforming who you are and how you live can feel daunting, even impossible. But what if I told you that creating the life you want doesn't require a dramatic overhaul? Instead, it begins with small, intentional shifts. Tiny changes that compound over time to produce extraordinary results. The power of small shifts lies in their simplicity and sustainability. When we aim for massive change all at once, we often burn out or revert to old habits. On the other hand, small shifts are manageable, even on the busiest days. They require little willpower to implement, but when repeated consistently, can spark incredible transformations. Think of it like planting seeds. One tiny seed may not seem like much, but given time and care, it can grow into a flourishing tree. Consider a real-world example. Imagine someone who wants to improve their physical health, but feels discouraged by the thought of intense daily workouts or completely overhauling their diet. Instead of diving into a rigorous fitness program, they might start by taking a 10-minute walk every evening. At first, it feels insignificant, just a stroll around the block. But as this habit becomes part of their routine, they begin to feel more energetic and motivated. Eventually, that 10-minute walk grows into 30 minutes, then perhaps a jog or a yoga session. Over time, this single small shift in their routine has transformed not only their physical health, but also their confidence and outlook on life. The same principle applies to professional growth. Picture someone stuck in a dead-end job, dreaming of starting their own business. The prospect of launching a company might feel overwhelming, but what if they started by dedicating just 15 minutes a day to brainstorming ideas or learning new skills? That small daily effort builds momentum. Weeks later, they've outlined a business plan. Months later, they've taken their first steps toward entrepreneurship, all because they embraced the power of small, consistent actions. Why do small shifts work so well? For one, they lower the barrier to action. It's easier to start with something small than to tackle a monumental task head-on. More importantly, small shifts build confidence. Every time you follow through on a tiny commitment, you prove to yourself that change is possible. This creates a positive feedback loop. The more you succeed, the more motivated you become to keep going. Another key factor is the cumulative effect of small changes. On their own, each shift might seem minor, but when combined over weeks, months, or years, their impact is astonishing. Think of compound interest in finance. A modest investment grows exponentially over time as interest builds upon itself. The same principle applies to habits. The more consistent you are, the more powerful the results. Take, for example, the story of James, a writer who struggled with procrastination. He dreamed of finishing a novel but couldn't muster the discipline to write for hours each day. Instead of pressuring himself to meet an unrealistic goal, James committed to writing just one paragraph daily. Some days that paragraph was all he managed. Other days, once he started, he found himself writing pages. Within a year, James had completed his manuscript. His success didn't come from a sudden burst of productivity, but from embracing the steady power of small, consistent effort. You can apply this concept to any area of life: relationships, finances, personal growth. Let's say you want to strengthen your relationships but don't know where to begin. A small shift might be sending a thoughtful text to a loved one each morning, or setting aside 5 minutes to truly listen during a conversation. Over time, These small gestures build deeper connections and foster a sense of closeness that might have seemed unattainable at first. So how do you begin making small shifts in your own life? Start by identifying one area where you'd like to see change. Then, think of the smallest possible action you can take in that direction. It should be so simple that it feels almost too easy, something you can do without overthinking. For instance, if your goal is to read more, commit to reading 1 page a day. If you want to save money, start by setting aside just a few dollars each week. The key is to focus on consistency rather than magnitude. Remember, it's better to take one small step every day than to take a giant leap once and give up. At the heart of this approach is self-compassion. Small shifts thrive in an environment of patience and kindness toward yourself. Resist the urge to judge your progress or compare yourself to others. Every small action you take is a victory, a step closer to the life you want. Celebrate those victories, no matter how small they may seem. Over time, they will add up to something truly remarkable. Now let's put this concept into action. Take a moment to reflect on an area of your life where you'd like to grow. What's one small, manageable change you can make today? Write it down and commit to it for the next week. Pay attention to how it makes you feel. Notice the sense of accomplishment that comes from following through and let that momentum carry you forward. As you begin this journey, remember, success isn't about perfection or overnight transformation. It's about making small, meaningful shifts every day. These shifts, though seemingly minor, have the power to reshape your habits, your mindset, and your future. One small step at a time, you're building the foundation for lasting success. Let this be your first step. Where will it take you? Chapter 2. Mindset Reset. Building a Foundation for Growth. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I'm just not the kind of person who can achieve that? These thoughts, often fleeting and subconscious, shape how we approach challenges and opportunities. They determine whether we take a leap of faith or stay within the boundaries of our comfort zone. At the heart of every transformative journey lies one essential ingredient: mindset. Before you can cultivate the habits that lead to success, you must first believe that growth is possible. The mindset we carry acts as a lens through which we interpret the world. A growth mindset, as opposed to a fixed mindset, believes that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. In contrast, a fixed mindset assumes that qualities like talent and intelligence are innate and unchangeable. When you adopt a growth mindset, challenges become opportunities to learn rather than threats to your self-worth. This shift is foundational to building habits that foster success. Consider a student named Maria, who struggled with math throughout high school. Whenever she encountered a difficult problem, she told herself, "I'm just not a math person." This belief led her to avoid studying harder concepts, reinforcing her struggles. Years later, while working as a data analyst, Maria realized she needed stronger math skills to advance her career. Instead of giving up, she decided to approach learning with curiosity. Each time she made a mistake, she told herself, "I'm getting better because I'm practicing." Over time, her skills improved dramatically. The key to Maria's transformation wasn't a sudden burst of talent. It was her mindset shift. This chapter is about helping you make that same shift. It starts with identifying the beliefs that hold you back. Many of us carry limiting beliefs we've internalized from past experiences, societal expectations, or the words of others. Perhaps someone told you as a child that you weren't creative, and now you avoid pursuing artistic hobbies. Or maybe you've convinced yourself that you're too disorganized to succeed in a leadership role. These beliefs act like invisible chains, restricting what we think we're capable of achieving. Shifting your mindset requires actively challenging these beliefs. The next time you hear your inner critic saying, "I can't do this," ask yourself, why not? More often than not, you'll find that your limitations are self-imposed. By reframing your thoughts, you create space for growth. Instead of saying, "I can't learn this," try saying, "I haven't learned this yet, but I can." This small change in language has a profound impact on your willingness to try. Let's look at another example. John, an entrepreneur, started his first business in his late 20s. It failed within a year, leaving him disheartened and deeply in debt. At first, John labeled himself a failure, vowing never to start another business. But after some reflection, he realized that failure wasn't the end of the road, it was a valuable lesson. He began viewing his mistakes as stepping stones, each one bringing him closer to success. Armed with this new perspective, John launched a second business, applying everything he had learned. Today, he credits his growth mindset for helping him navigate setbacks and build a thriving company. Adopting a growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring failure or pretending challenges don't exist. It means understanding that effort and resilience are the keys to overcoming obstacles. The road to success is rarely linear. It's filled with twists, turns, and detours. A growth mindset helps you view these as part of the journey, rather than reasons to stop moving forward. One way to cultivate a growth mindset is to surround yourself with stories of perseverance. Read about athletes who overcame injuries to break records, scientists who faced years of rejection before making breakthroughs, or artists who honed their craft through countless hours of practice. These stories remind us that success is built on resilience, not perfection. The more you expose yourself to examples of growth, the more you'll believe it's possible for yourself. It's also important to celebrate small wins along the way. Each time you make progress, no matter how minor it may seem, acknowledge it. Did you speak up in a meeting despite feeling nervous? That's growth. Did you finish a task that felt intimidating? That's growth too. Celebrating these moments reinforces the belief that you're capable of change. Another practical strategy is to focus on process over outcome. Instead of fixating on the end goal, direct your energy toward the steps that will get you there. For instance, if your goal is to become fluent in a new language, don't obsess over how far you are from fluency. Instead, celebrate the daily practice of learning vocabulary, listening to conversations, and speaking. This approach not only keeps you motivated, but also reinforces the idea that effort leads to progress. Now it's time to reflect on your own mindset. Think about an area of your life where you feel stuck or limited. Ask yourself, what beliefs are holding me back? Are these beliefs based on fact, or are they assumptions I've accepted without question? Write down these beliefs, then challenge each one by asking, what evidence do I have that this is true? Often, you'll find that your beliefs are rooted in fear rather than reality. To conclude this chapter, I invite you to take a small but powerful step. Each morning for the next week, spend 5 minutes journaling about a growth-focused affirmation. Write down one thing you're learning, improving, or practicing. For example, you might write, I'm becoming more confident in expressing my ideas, or each day I'm learning new ways to manage my time effectively. This simple exercise trains your mind to focus on growth, setting a positive tone for the day. Remember, building a growth mindset is not about erasing self-doubt overnight. It's about choosing, moment by moment, to believe in your capacity for growth. With each shift in perspective, you're laying the foundation for a life of resilience, curiosity, and continuous improvement. You are capable of more than you imagine, and the journey starts here. Chapter 3. Your Daily Blueprint, Designing Habits That Stick. Have you ever wondered why some habits seem to effortlessly become part of your routine, while others feel like a constant struggle to maintain? The secret often lies in how those habits are designed. Building lasting habits isn't just about willpower or motivation, it's about creating a blueprint that makes success inevitable. At its core, a habit is simply a behavior repeated often enough that it becomes automatic. The beauty of habits is that once they are ingrained, they require little mental energy to sustain. Imagine if brushing your teeth every day required as much effort as starting a new workout routine. It would feel overwhelming. But because brushing your teeth is a habit, you barely think about it. It's just part of your day. The goal is to apply this same principle to the habits you want to cultivate. To design habits that stick, it's crucial to understand the habit loop: a cue, a routine, and a reward. A cue is a trigger that initiates the behavior. This could be a specific time of day, an event, or a location. The routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is the positive feeling or outcome that reinforces the habit. For example, consider someone who wants to start meditating in the morning. Their cue might be the sound of their alarm clock. The routine is sitting quietly for 5 minutes, and the reward is the sense of calm they feel afterward. Over time, this loop becomes automatic, and meditation becomes a natural part of their day. Let's explore a real-world example. Sarah wanted to drink more water throughout the day, but often forgot. She decided to use her morning coffee as a cue. Each time she brewed her coffee, she would fill a glass of water and drink it before taking her first sip. At first, she had to consciously remind herself, but after a few weeks, the action became automatic. The coffee served as a reliable trigger, and the reward was the refreshed feeling she experienced from staying hydrated. The key to designing effective habits is to make them as easy as possible to adopt. This concept is often referred to as reducing friction. The more accessible and convenient the habit, the more likely you are to follow through. For instance, if you want to start working out in the mornings, lay out your workout clothes the night before. This simple step removes one barrier to action and makes it easier to start your routine. Another important principle is to tie new habits to existing ones, a technique known as habit stacking. By attaching a new behavior to something you already do consistently, you leverage the power of your current routine. For example, if you brush your teeth every night, you could add a habit of practicing gratitude by thinking of one thing you're thankful for as you brush. The existing habit acts as an anchor, making it easier to remember and establish the new behavior. Consider David, a busy professional who wanted to read more but struggled to find the time. He decided to stack the habit onto his evening routine of preparing dinner. While waiting for his food to cook, he began reading a few pages of a book. Over time, this small window of reading became a cherished part of his day. What started as a few minutes soon turned into a full chapter, and David found himself reading more books than ever before, all without feeling like he had to carve out extra time. Consistency is another critical element in habit formation. The more often you perform a behavior, the stronger the neural pathways associated with it become. This is why starting small is so powerful. By setting a goal that feels almost too easy, like doing one push-up or writing one sentence, you build a track record of success. This momentum encourages you to continue and expand the habit over time. But what about when motivation dips? Life is full of distractions and unexpected challenges, so it's important to anticipate obstacles and plan for them. If you're trying to develop a habit of journaling every evening, for instance, you might keep a notebook on your bedside table as a reminder. You could also allow yourself flexibility, such as writing just one line on busy nights, to maintain the habit even during tough times. Remember, consistency is more important than perfection. Missing one day won't derail your progress, but giving up entirely might. Rewards also play a crucial role in reinforcing habits. They don't have to be extravagant. Even a small positive outcome can motivate you to keep going. For example, after completing a workout, you might reward yourself with a relaxing shower or a favorite podcast episode. The key is to associate the habit with something enjoyable, making it more appealing to repeat. One of the most transformative aspects of designing habits is how they shape your identity. When you consistently perform a behavior, you begin to see yourself as the kind of person who embodies that habit. A runner is not someone who runs marathons. It's someone who runs regularly, no matter the distance. By focusing on the small actions that align with the person you want to become, you reinforce that identity every day. To illustrate, think about Lisa, who wanted to become more organized. She began by spending 5 minutes each evening tidying up her workspace. This small habit made her feel more in control and productive. Over time, Lisa started identifying as an organized person, which motivated her to adopt additional habits like creating to-do lists and decluttering her home. The ripple effect of her initial habit extended far beyond her desk. Now it's your turn to design a habit that aligns with your goals. Start by choosing a specific behavior you want to adopt. Next, identify a cue that will trigger the habit. This could be a time of day, an activity, or a location. Then, think about how you can reduce friction and make the habit as simple as possible. Finally, decide on a reward that will reinforce the behavior. For the next 7 days, commit to practicing this habit daily. Pay attention to what works and what doesn't, and be willing to adjust as needed. At the end of the week, reflect on how the habit made you feel. Did it bring you closer to your goals, What challenges did you face, and how can you overcome them moving forward? Remember, building habits is not about creating a perfect routine overnight. It's about taking small, intentional steps toward the life you want. With the right blueprint, you can design habits that stick and set the foundation for lasting success. Your journey begins today. What will you build? Chapter 4. Breaking Barriers, Overcoming Resistance to Change. Have you ever set out to make a positive change in your life, only to find yourself stuck or reverting to old habits? You're not alone. Resistance to change is a universal experience. Even when we genuinely want to improve, our minds and bodies often cling to familiar routines. Why does this happen, and how can we move past it? The answer lies in understanding the barriers that hold us back and learning strategies to overcome them. Resistance to change is rooted in human nature. Our brains are wired to favor the familiar because it feels safe and predictable. Even when a current habit or routine is unhelpful, it's what we know, and stepping into the unknown can trigger fear or discomfort. This is why starting something new, whether it's a fitness routine, a daily meditation practice, or a professional development plan, often feels challenging at first. Recognizing this resistance as a natural response is the first step toward overcoming it. Take Anna, for example. She had long dreamed of becoming a writer but struggled to begin. Each time she sat down to write, doubts crept in. What if I'm not good enough? Or, what if no one wants to read this? These thoughts paralyzed her, keeping her from making progress. What Anna didn't realize was that her resistance wasn't about her writing ability. It was about the fear of stepping outside her comfort zone. Once she acknowledged her fears and reframed them as part of the growth process, she was able to take small, consistent steps toward her goal. Over time, the act of writing became less intimidating and more fulfilling. One common barrier to change is the fear of failure. Many people hesitate to start something new because they worry they won't succeed. This fear often leads to procrastination, perfectionism, or giving up entirely. But what if failure wasn't something to fear, but rather a necessary part of growth? Imagine a child learning to walk. They stumble and fall countless times before mastering the skill, yet we don't see those falls as failures. We see them as steps toward progress. Adopting this perspective allows us to view setbacks not as evidence of inadequacy, but as opportunities to learn and improve. Another significant barrier is the overwhelming nature of big goals. When a goal feels too large or abstract, it's easy to become paralyzed by the enormity of the task. This is why breaking goals into smaller, manageable steps is so effective. Each small step builds momentum and reinforces the belief that progress is possible. For instance, instead of resolving to get healthy, someone might start by drinking an extra glass of water each day or taking a 10-minute walk after dinner. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they create a ripple effect that leads to bigger changes over time. Resistance can also manifest as self-doubt. Negative self-talk, such as, "I'm not disciplined enough," or "I've never been good at this," can sabotage efforts before they even begin. Overcoming this requires challenging these beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't stick to a routine," reframe it as, "I'm learning to build habits that work for me." This shift in language helps reinforce a growth mindset and encourages perseverance. Consider James, who wanted to improve his public speaking skills, but was terrified of speaking in front of an audience. For years, he avoided opportunities to practice, convinced that he wasn't cut out for it. Eventually, James decided to challenge his self-doubt by joining a local Toastmasters club. He started small, speaking for just a minute or two during meetings. With each attempt, his confidence grew, and he began to see himself as someone capable of improving. Today, James speaks confidently to large groups, a transformation made possible by confronting and reframing his fears. One of the most practical strategies for overcoming resistance is creating an environment that supports your goals. Our surroundings play a powerful role in shaping behavior. If your environment is filled with distractions or obstacles, it can be difficult to maintain focus and motivation. Conversely, designing a space that aligns with your intentions can make change feel more natural. For example, if you want to develop a habit of reading before bed, keep a book on your nightstand instead of scrolling through your phone. Small adjustments like this help remove friction and make it easier to follow through on your goals. Accountability is another valuable tool for breaking through resistance. Sharing your goals with a trusted friend, family member, or mentor creates a sense of responsibility and encourages follow-through. Knowing that someone else is invested in your progress can be a powerful motivator. For instance, imagine two colleagues, Sarah and Mia, who both want to start exercising regularly. Sarah keeps her goal private, while Mia shares it with Sarah and invites her to join her at the gym. The shared commitment helps both women stay consistent, even on days when motivation is low. The final and perhaps most important strategy for overcoming resistance is practicing self-compassion. Change is rarely a smooth, linear process. There will be days when you struggle, fall short, or feel like giving up. During these moments, it's crucial to treat yourself with kindness rather than criticism. Acknowledge your effort, learn from the experience, and commit to trying again. Remember, growth takes time, and every step forward, even a small one, is worth celebrating. Now it's time to put these ideas into practice. Think about a change you've been wanting to make but have struggled to start or maintain. Reflect on the barriers that might be holding you back. Are you afraid of failing? Does the goal feel too big? Are you doubting your ability to succeed? Write down these barriers and then challenge them. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today to move past this resistance? Commit to taking that step and observe how it feels to act despite your doubts. As you work through this process, remember that resistance is not a sign that you're incapable. It's a natural part of growth. By understanding and addressing the barriers you face, you can turn resistance into resilience. With each step forward, you're not just building new habits, you're becoming the person you've always aspired to be. Your potential is limitless, and the journey starts with a single step. Take it today. Chapter 5: Momentum Matters. The Role of Consistency. Have you ever noticed how much easier it is to keep going once you've started something? Whether it's exercising, studying, or developing a new skill, momentum can feel like a powerful force propelling you forward. But what happens when that momentum fades? Why does it sometimes feel so hard to pick back up after missing a day or two? The answer lies in understanding the role of consistency and how it builds the momentum necessary for lasting success. Momentum is the cumulative energy generated by consistent effort. Think of it like pushing a car. Getting it to move from a complete stop takes significant effort, but once it's rolling, it requires far less energy to keep it moving. Similarly, in our personal and professional lives, the hardest part of any new habit or goal is often getting started. But once you do, every small action builds on the last, creating a sense of progress that motivates you to continue. Consider an example. Mia wanted to improve her fitness but struggled to stay consistent with her workouts. She'd start enthusiastically, going to the gym every day for a week, only to burn out and skip the next 2 weeks. Frustrated by her lack of progress, she decided to focus on consistency over intensity. Instead of committing to daily, hour-long workouts, she started with 3 20-minute sessions each week. This smaller, more manageable routine allowed her to stay consistent, and over time, her progress became steady and sustainable. What made the difference was not the length of her workouts, but her ability to show up regularly. Consistency is often misunderstood as perfection, but they are not the same. You don't need to be perfect to build momentum. You just need to keep moving forward. Missing a day here or there won't derail your progress as long as you return to your routine. The key is to avoid the all-or-nothing mindset that leads many people to abandon their efforts entirely after a setback. Progress is about persistence, not flawlessness. Another powerful example is the story of David, a budding musician who wanted to learn guitar. At first, he set ambitious goals, aiming to practice for an hour each day. However, life often got in the way, and he found himself skipping practice more often than not. Feeling discouraged, David decided to adjust his approach. He committed to practicing for just 5 minutes a day, no matter what. Some days, 5 minutes was all he managed, but more often, he found himself playing for much longer once he got started. Over time, his consistent practice built momentum, and within months, David was playing songs with ease. So why is consistency so effective? First, it creates a sense of reliability and structure. When you repeat a behavior regularly, it becomes a natural part of your routine, reducing the mental effort required to start. Second, consistency reinforces your identity. Each time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen the belief that you are the kind of person who takes action and achieves goals. Finally, consistent effort leads to visible progress, which fuels motivation and keeps you engaged. Of course, maintaining consistency isn't always easy. Life is full of distractions, competing priorities, and unexpected challenges. This is why it's essential to set realistic goals and plan for obstacles. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on showing up, even if it's in a smaller capacity than you originally intended. For example, if you're trying to develop a writing habit but find yourself short on time, write one sentence instead of skipping the session altogether. By maintaining even a small level of engagement, you preserve your momentum and make it easier to return to full effort later. Environment also plays a critical role in fostering consistency. Creating a space that supports your goals can make it easier to stick with your habits. For instance, if you want to meditate daily, designate a quiet corner in your home for meditation and keep it free of distractions. Similarly, if you're trying to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and prepare meals in advance. These small adjustments reduce friction and help you stay consistent without relying solely on willpower. Another helpful strategy is to track your progress. Keeping a record of your efforts, whether through a journal, calendar, or app, provides a tangible reminder of your achievements. Each checkmark or entry serves as a visual representation of your consistency, reinforcing your commitment and motivating you to keep going. For example, Alex, who wanted to build a habit of reading daily, used a simple calendar to mark off each day he read at least one page. Seeing the growing chain of checkmarks inspired him to maintain his streak, even on busy days. Accountability can also enhance consistency. Sharing your goals with someone you trust creates a sense of responsibility and encourages follow-through. For example, two friends, Emily and Sarah, both wanted to start running regularly. They decided to become accountability partners, checking in with each other each evening to share whether they had completed their runs. Knowing that someone else was invested in their progress helped both women stay consistent, even on days when motivation was low. Now, let's turn this concept into action. Think about a goal or habit you've been trying to establish. Ask yourself, what small, consistent steps can I take to build momentum? For the next 7 days, commit to practicing this habit daily. Start with a manageable level of effort, something so small that it feels impossible to fail. At the end of each day, reflect on how it felt to show up, even if the action was minor. Notice how each step builds on the last, creating a sense of progress and possibility. Remember, momentum is the force that keeps you moving forward, but it begins with consistency. By focusing on regular, deliberate actions rather than sporadic bursts of effort, you create a foundation for lasting success. Each day is an opportunity to build momentum and move closer to your goals. Take that first step and trust that every small effort will carry you further than you imagined. Momentum matters. Let it work for you. Chapter 6. The Power of Focus. How single-minded attention leads to success. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to get distracted? In today's world, there's always something competing for our attention. A ping from our phone, an incoming email, or a conversation happening in the background. These distractions often make it difficult to focus, and as a result, we can find ourselves juggling tasks without making meaningful progress on any of them. But what if I told you that the secret to greater productivity and success lies in your ability to focus? More specifically, focusing on one task at a time with full attention and intention. Focus is a powerful tool that, when harnessed properly, can transform your results. It is the ability to concentrate all your mental energy on a single task or goal, without dividing your attention between multiple competing demands. This chapter is about understanding the importance of focus and how mastering it can lead to significant progress in achieving your goals. To begin, let's look at an everyday example. Sarah, a freelance writer, was struggling to meet deadlines because she found herself constantly checking her email, browsing social media, and getting sidetracked by other tasks while working on assignments. She thought multitasking was the key to getting more done, but all it did was fragment her attention and slow her progress. One day, she decided to try something different. For 1 week, she would focus entirely on one task at a time, setting clear goals for each writing session and eliminating distractions. By the end of the week, she had completed more work than she had in the previous month combined. The key to her newfound productivity was the power of focus. Focus allows you to direct your energy and attention toward what truly matters. It is a form of mental discipline that helps you tune out distractions and eliminate the temptation to switch between tasks. Research has shown that our brains are not designed to handle multiple complex tasks at once. While we may think we're being more efficient by multitasking, studies have shown that our productivity actually decreases when we try to juggle more than one cognitive task at a time. The more we divide our attention, the less effectively we can complete each task. By focusing on a single task, we can work faster, with better results, and with greater satisfaction. One of the most compelling reasons to focus on one thing at a time is the increase in the quality of your work. Take James, a graphic designer, as an example. When he first started his career, he would work on several design projects at once, constantly switching from one to the next. This led to a decrease in the quality of his designs and a sense of overwhelm. After speaking with a mentor, James decided to commit to focusing on one project at a time. He created a dedicated workspace, set specific blocks of time for each task, and removed all distractions while working. As a result, his designs improved significantly, and he began to receive more client referrals. By concentrating his efforts, James was able to create higher quality work and build a stronger reputation in his field. Another reason why focus is so powerful is that it builds momentum. When you dedicate yourself fully to one task, you create a rhythm that pushes you forward. This sense of progress is motivating and helps you stay on track. Think about the last time you completed a task with full focus. It likely felt satisfying, and you may have even found that you wanted to continue working on similar tasks because you were in the zone. This is the momentum that focus can generate. The more you focus, the easier it becomes to maintain that momentum and keep achieving your goals. However, focus doesn't just happen by chance. It requires intention and planning. To improve your ability to focus, you must first recognize the things that pull your attention away from your work. One common obstacle is digital distractions. Smartphones, social media, and notifications can all break your concentration and make it difficult to stay on task. A simple solution is to turn off notifications, silence your phone, or even use apps that block distracting websites while you work. Another helpful strategy is to designate a specific time and space for work. Whether it's setting aside 30 minutes each morning or finding a quiet spot to work in, having a dedicated space and time for your tasks can significantly improve your ability to focus. In addition to managing external distractions, it's important to cultivate mental focus. One way to do this is through mindfulness techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises. These practices can help clear your mind, reduce stress, and improve your ability to concentrate. It may seem counterintuitive, but taking a few minutes to relax and center yourself before diving into a task can help you stay focused for longer periods of time. Meditation, even for just 5 or 10 minutes, can train your mind to be more present, helping you stay in the moment and avoid distractions. Another strategy for enhancing focus is to break your tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps. Large, complex tasks can feel overwhelming, making it hard to know where to start. However, by dividing a task into smaller chunks, you make it easier to focus on one thing at a time. For instance, if you are working on a report, break it down into stages: research, outline, writing, and editing. Focus on one stage at a time and don't move on to the next until you've completed the current one. This approach not only helps you stay focused, but also gives you a sense of accomplishment as you finish each part of the task. Now let's reflect on your own ability to focus. Think about a project or task you are working on right now. How often do you find yourself distracted? What are the main sources of distraction in your environment? Consider how you can eliminate or minimize these distractions to improve your focus. Can you set up a designated workspace or create a more structured schedule? Would mindfulness or deep breathing exercises help calm your mind and make it easier to concentrate? Over the next week, commit to practicing single tasking. Choose one task each day and give it your full attention for a set period of time. This might be a work-related task, a creative project, or something personal like reading or exercise. Notice how much more productive and engaged you feel when you focus on just one thing. As you develop the ability to concentrate fully on one task at a time, you'll find that your work becomes more efficient, your results improve, and your sense of accomplishment grows. In conclusion, focus is an invaluable tool for achieving success. By training yourself to concentrate on one task at a time, you not only improve the quality of your work, but also build the momentum needed to keep moving forward. Distractions are inevitable, but with intention and practice, you can cultivate the mental discipline required to overcome them. Focus is a skill that takes time to develop, but once mastered, it becomes a powerful force that drives you toward your goals. So take a deep breath, eliminate distractions, and focus on what matters most. Your success depends on it. Chapter 7. Cultivating Patience, the Key to Sustainable Growth. Have you ever felt the impatience building up when you don't see immediate results from your efforts? You've put in the work, you've stayed consistent, yet progress seems slow. This feeling can be frustrating, especially when it feels like others are advancing faster or achieving their goals with ease. But what if I told you that the secret to long-lasting success is not rushing the process, but learning to cultivate patience? Patience isn't about waiting idly for results. It's about trusting the process, staying focused on your journey, and knowing that growth takes time. In this chapter, we'll explore the power of patience, why it is essential to achieving sustainable success, and how you can develop this valuable trait. We'll discuss how impatience can derail your progress and how adopting a mindset of patience can actually help you make better decisions, enjoy the journey, and build the resilience needed to achieve your goals in the long term. Let's start with a simple, yet profound idea. Success is not an overnight achievement. The path to lasting success is paved with consistent, daily effort, and often, the real growth happens behind the scenes. Take the example of a farmer. Every year, they plant seeds, water them, and tend to them, but they don't expect immediate results. They understand that a seed must go through various stages of growth before it becomes a mature plant. The farmer's patience lies in knowing that no matter what happens in the short term, with the right care, the harvest will come in due time. The same principle applies to your personal and professional growth. Whether you're building a business, learning a new skill, or striving to improve your health, growth doesn't happen in a straight line. There will be days when it feels like nothing is happening and progress seems invisible. This is when patience becomes crucial. When you embrace patience, you allow yourself the grace to continue, even when the results don't show up right away. You trust the process, knowing that consistent effort compounds over time. Consider the story of Jack, a young entrepreneur who was determined to build a successful online business. At first, things seemed to move quickly. He built his website, attracted some customers, and made a few sales. But soon, he hit a plateau. The growth slowed down and Jack became frustrated. He wanted to see bigger returns and faster progress. His impatience led him to make impulsive decisions, like lowering his prices dramatically or launching unplanned promotions, hoping that these quick fixes would accelerate his success. However, these decisions often led to more stress and less sustainable growth. After reflecting on his journey, Jack realized that he had been focusing too much on the immediate outcome and not enough on the long-term vision. He took a step back and adopted a mindset of patience. Instead of focusing on instant rewards, he committed to making small improvements each day, whether it was refining his marketing strategy, optimizing his website, or engaging more deeply with his customers. Slowly but surely, Jack's business began to grow in a more sustainable way. By focusing on gradual, consistent progress rather than rushing toward quick results, he set himself up for long-term success. Patience is especially important when it comes to the process of personal growth. In a world that often glorifies rapid results, it can be easy to fall into the trap of comparing your progress to others. Social media, in particular, has made it seem like everyone else is achieving their goals faster and more effortlessly than you. But what you see online is only part of the picture. It's important to recognize that each person's journey is unique, and comparison only slows down your own progress. For example, consider two individuals who are both trying to get in shape. One person might be motivated by the idea of rapid transformation and resorts to extreme diets or intense exercise regimens, hoping for quick results. While this approach might show some initial improvements, it's often unsustainable, and they may eventually burn out. The other person adopts a more patient, gradual approach. They focus on small, consistent changes, eating more nutritious meals, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep. Over time, these small changes add up, and their results are not only visible, but sustainable. The person who embraced patience may not see results as quickly as the one who sought fast fixes, but their progress will last longer, and they will be more likely to maintain their success in the long run. Patience also allows you to develop resilience. When you're focused on achieving a goal, setbacks are inevitable. You might encounter obstacles, make mistakes, or face delays. These moments can test your commitment and challenge your resolve. If you lack patience, these setbacks might feel discouraging, causing you to give up or change course prematurely. But when you cultivate patience, setbacks become opportunities for growth. Instead of quitting, you learn from your mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward with the belief that success is on the horizon. The idea that success takes time is central to the process of cultivating patience. It's crucial to remember that every small action you take, every day you show up, contributes to the larger picture. The most successful people don't get there overnight. They achieve their goals because they understand the power of patience and consistently put in the work, regardless of how long it takes. They focus on building habits that move them toward their goals, trusting that each step they take will bring them closer to their ultimate destination. A key component of patience is also having a clear vision of what you're working toward. When you have a long-term vision, you are less likely to get frustrated by short-term challenges. You understand that every setback or delay is simply part of the process, not a sign that you should give up. A strong vision gives you the strength to persevere, knowing that your efforts are moving you in the right direction, even if progress seems slow. As you continue to cultivate patience in your life, take the time to reflect on your own goals. Are you allowing yourself to be patient with your growth process? Are there areas where you find yourself feeling frustrated by a lack of immediate results? Take a moment to embrace the idea that growth is a journey, and that journey takes time. Remind yourself that each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory in itself. For your exercise, think about an area of your life where you're currently struggling with impatience. It could be related to your career, your health, or a personal project. Now take a step back and reflect on the long-term vision for that area of your life. Write down your goals and the steps needed to get there. Then, commit to taking small, consistent actions every day, trusting that each effort will bring you closer to your goal. Whenever you feel frustration or impatience rising, remind yourself that growth is happening in its own time and your consistent efforts will pay off. In conclusion, cultivating patience is not about passively waiting for success to come to you. It's about actively trusting the process, staying focused on the long-term vision, and embracing each step, no matter how small. When you develop patience, you open the door to sustainable growth, resilience, and long-lasting success. So be kind to yourself as you journey toward your goals. Remember, patience isn't just about waiting. It's about believing in the process and showing up every day with the commitment to keep going. Success will come when the time is right. Chapter 8: Embracing Failure, the Stepping Stone to Success. Have you ever avoided taking action because you were afraid of failing? Have you ever felt discouraged after failing at something, thinking it was a sign that you weren't capable of achieving your goals? If so, you're not alone. Many people fear failure and see it as something to be avoided at all costs. However, what if I told you that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace. What if failure was actually the key to unlocking your success? In this chapter, we will explore the concept of failure and how it can be a powerful tool for growth. We'll discuss why failure is often misinterpreted as a negative experience, and how changing your perspective on failure can lead to greater resilience, confidence, and ultimately success. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's simply a stepping stone that helps you learn, improve, and move closer to your goals. One of the greatest misconceptions about success is that it's achieved by avoiding failure. Many of us believe that successful people are those who never fail, that they somehow have the magic formula for constant success. But if you take a closer look at the stories of many successful people, you'll find that their paths to success were filled with failures, sometimes even more failures than successes. What made them successful wasn't their ability to avoid failure, but their ability to learn from it, to adapt, and to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, the famous inventor of the light bulb. Edison is known for his relentless pursuit of success, and yet, he faced failure after failure. In fact, when asked about his many unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb, Edison famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that failure was an inevitable part of the process. He didn't let each failure discourage him. Instead, he used each one as a lesson, refining his approach until he eventually succeeded. Edison's ability to embrace failure allowed him to achieve one of the most transformative inventions in history. Similarly, many of today's most successful entrepreneurs have faced failure on their journey. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was famously ousted from the company he helped build, only to return years later and lead Apple to unprecedented success. Jobs' failure didn't mark the end of his career. It marked a turning point. He learned from his mistakes, grew stronger, and returned with a vision that revolutionized the tech industry. His story is a testament to the idea that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of the process. The key to embracing failure lies in how you perceive it. When you view failure as a setback or a roadblock, it can feel discouraging and defeatist. However, when you reframe failure as a learning experience, it becomes an essential part of your growth. Failure is not an indication of your inability to succeed. It's simply feedback. It tells you what doesn't work, so you can adjust your approach and try again with a new perspective. This mindset shift is crucial for personal growth. Instead of feeling ashamed of your failures, you can learn to embrace them as valuable opportunities for self-improvement. Failure provides feedback on your current methods, helping you refine your strategies and build your resilience. Each time you fail and get back up, you strengthen your ability to overcome challenges. It's not the failure itself that matters, but how you respond to it. Take the example of Sarah, a woman who decided to start her own online business. Initially, she encountered a series of failures. Her website wasn't attracting visitors, her marketing strategies weren't working, and sales were low. Sarah could have easily given up at this point, but instead, she chose to view these failures as opportunities to learn. She analyzed what went wrong, sought advice from others, and experimented with new strategies. Slowly but surely, her business began to grow. Her initial failures weren't signs of defeat. They were lessons that helped her build a stronger, more successful business. In many cases, failure teaches you valuable lessons that success alone cannot provide. It helps you develop resilience, creativity, and the ability to problem solve. When you succeed too easily, you don't face the same challenges or learn how to navigate obstacles. But failure forces you to get creative, to think outside the box, and to keep going even when things seem tough. This is where true growth happens. Furthermore, embracing failure can help you become more confident in your abilities. When you know that failure is not the end, but a part of the process, you are more willing to take risks and pursue your goals with greater determination. Fear of failure often holds people back from reaching their full potential. They worry about making mistakes or not being good enough. But when you reframe failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, you give yourself permission to take action without fear of making mistakes. You stop worrying about being perfect and start focusing on making progress. It's also important to understand that failure is not always the result of doing something wrong. Sometimes it simply means that you need more time, more practice, or more experience. This is particularly true when you're learning something new. If you're learning to play an instrument, for example, you will likely make mistakes along the way. These mistakes are not failures in the traditional sense. They are simply part of the learning process. Each mistake brings you one step closer to mastering the instrument. The same principle applies to any new skill you are trying to acquire. Whether it's starting a business, improving your health, or learning a new language, failure is simply the sign that you are in the process of learning and growing. In order to embrace failure, it's essential to change your relationship with it. Instead of fearing failure, you need to reframe it as an integral part of success. Remind yourself that every time you fail, you gain valuable information that moves you closer to your goal. Each failure is a lesson in what doesn't work, and each lesson brings you one step closer to finding the solution that will work. Success, after all, is rarely achieved in a straight line. It's a series of successes and failures, all of which contribute to your ultimate achievement. As you move forward on your journey, take some time to reflect on your own experiences with failure. Have you been holding back because of the fear of failing? Are there goals you've put off because you're worried about making mistakes? Consider how embracing failure could change your perspective and help you take action. Think about a past failure that at the time felt discouraging, but in hindsight turned out to be a valuable learning experience. What lessons did you learn from it? For your exercise, write down one area of your life where you've been avoiding failure or have been afraid of making mistakes. Reflect on the reasons behind this fear. Now reframe this fear by writing down what you would learn from failing in that area. How would failure help you grow? What new approaches might you take if you knew that failure was simply a part of the process? Challenge yourself to take a small step forward in that area, embracing the idea that failure is not something to avoid, but something to learn from. In conclusion, failure is not something to fear. It is a vital part of the journey toward success. Embrace failure as a teacher and let it guide you toward growth, resilience, and confidence. Every time you fail and rise again, you become stronger and more equipped to achieve your goals. Remember, the most successful people are not those who have never failed. They are the ones who have failed, learned, and kept going. So, let go of the fear of failure and embrace it as the powerful tool for success that it truly is. Chapter 9: The Power of Persistence. Staying the course. When challenges arise, have you ever started something with enthusiasm only to find yourself faltering when the journey became more difficult than expected? Whether it's a new project, a fitness goal, or a career change, many of us encounter moments when we feel like giving up. But what if I told you that the key to success isn't just in starting strong, but in staying the course, even when the going gets tough? What if persistence is the one quality that can carry you through the most challenging times and lead you to the success you've been striving for? In this chapter, we will dive into the concept of persistence and explore why it's so crucial for achieving long-term goals. You'll learn how persistence is often the difference between those who succeed and those who give up. We'll also look at real-life examples of individuals who persevered despite facing enormous obstacles and how their persistence led them to remarkable achievements. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a deeper understanding of how to cultivate persistence in your own life and how to apply it to overcome any challenges you may face. At the heart of persistence is the willingness to keep moving forward, no matter how many setbacks or failures you encounter along the way. It's the resolve to continue working toward your goal, even when the path isn't clear, or when you face obstacles that seem insurmountable. Persistence is often what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't. It's not that successful people are always more talented or more capable than others. It's that they are willing to stick with it longer, to endure the difficult moments, and to keep pushing forward even when it feels like progress is slow. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became a household name, Rowling faced rejection after rejection. Her manuscript for the first Harry Potter book was turned down by 12 different publishers, many of whom didn't think it would be successful. At one point, Rowling was a single mother living on welfare, struggling to make ends meet, and writing in cafes just to keep warm. Yet, she didn't give up. She believed in her story, and she believed in herself. Despite the rejections, she persisted, eventually finding a publisher who took a chance on her work. Today, the Harry Potter books have sold over 500 million copies and have been adapted into a globally successful film series. Rowling's persistence, even in the face of countless failures, is what ultimately led to her success. Another example of persistence can be seen in the life of Thomas Edison. As we mentioned earlier in the book, Edison is often remembered for his invention of the light bulb. But what many people don't realize is just how many failures he experienced along the way. He was known for testing thousands of different materials and designs before he finally found the right combination that worked. Edison faced countless setbacks and criticisms, but he didn't let any of it stop him. He once said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Edison's persistence was key to his ability to revolutionize the way we live today. Persistence is not just about enduring through tough times. It's also about having the grit and determination to continue working toward a goal, even when things are moving slowly, or when the initial excitement fades. Often, we start something with great enthusiasm, but as the days go by, the challenges begin to mount, and our energy starts to wane. This is when persistence becomes especially important. It's easy to stay motivated when things are going well, but it's during the tough times that persistence truly shines. Take the example of someone training for a marathon. When they first start running, the excitement and novelty of the challenge are motivating factors. They're hitting the pavement early in the morning, pushing themselves a little further each day. But as the training intensifies, the reality sets in. It's hard. The body aches, the weather is unforgiving, and life gets in the way. The initial excitement fades, and the temptation to quit becomes stronger. But it's in these moments, the moments when you feel like giving up, that persistence makes all the difference. The person who continues to put in the work, even when they're tired or discouraged, is the one who crosses the finish line. The power of persistence lies in its ability to build resilience. Every time you push through a tough situation, you grow stronger. You develop the mental fortitude to face adversity head-on, and the more you practice persistence, the easier it becomes to face challenges in the future. Persistence helps you become more adaptable, as it forces you to find new solutions when obstacles arise. It teaches you patience and self-discipline, and it helps you develop a never-give-up mindset that can carry you through almost anything. There are also benefits to persistence that go beyond achieving the specific goal you set out to accomplish. For one, persistence builds character. It cultivates qualities like determination, perseverance, and focus, qualities that are essential for success in any area of life. When you persist through difficulty, you learn to trust in your ability to overcome obstacles and achieve what you set out to do. This sense of self-belief is powerful, and it becomes a foundation upon which you can build greater success in the future. Persistence also helps you develop a deeper sense of purpose. When you commit to something and face the challenges along the way, you begin to understand why that goal is important to you. You gain clarity about what matters most in your life, and that clarity fuels your motivation to keep going. As you overcome obstacles and continue to push forward, your sense of purpose becomes clearer, and you develop a deeper connection to your goals. It's also important to recognize that persistence doesn't mean blindly pushing forward without any reflection or adjustment. Persistence doesn't mean doing the same thing over and over again when it's clearly not working. True persistence involves being flexible and learning from setbacks. It means adjusting your approach, trying new strategies, and finding creative solutions when things aren't going as planned. The key is to keep moving forward even when things aren't going smoothly, and to stay committed to your goal, while remaining open to learning along the way. So how can you cultivate persistence in your own life? The first step is to shift your mindset. Instead of focusing on the obstacles, focus on the goal. Keep reminding yourself of why you started and what you hope to achieve. Understand that setbacks are a normal part of the process and view each challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow. Don't let failures or difficulties discourage you. Let them motivate you to push forward with even more determination. Another way to build persistence is by setting smaller, manageable goals along the way. When you break down a large goal into smaller steps, it's easier to stay focused and motivated. Each small success builds momentum, and the sense of accomplishment will fuel your desire to keep going. Remember, persistence is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and staying committed to your vision. As you move forward, think about a goal or project that you've started but haven't finished. What challenges have you faced that have made it difficult to continue? How can you shift your perspective to stay focused on the bigger picture? Reflect on the reasons why you want to accomplish this goal and how achieving it will make a difference in your life. Commit to taking one small action today that brings you closer to your goal, and remember that persistence is the key to moving forward. In conclusion, persistence is one of the most powerful tools you have for achieving success. It's not about never failing, it's about continuing to push forward, no matter how many setbacks you encounter. Persistence helps you build resilience, adapt to challenges, and develop a deeper sense of purpose. The next time you feel like giving up, remember that your success is often just around the corner. Keep going, keep learning, and keep persisting. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think. Chapter 10. Reflecting and Planning. Forward, sustaining growth through intentional action. As you approach the end of this journey, it's worth pausing to reflect. How far have you come? Often we become so focused on what's ahead that we forget to acknowledge the progress we've made. Reflecting on your achievements not only helps you appreciate your growth, but also provides the clarity needed to plan your next steps. Success is not just about reaching one goal, it's about continuously evolving, learning, and striving for new heights. This chapter is dedicated to helping you sustain the growth you've cultivated by reflecting on your journey and intentionally planning your future. Reflection is a powerful tool for personal growth. It allows you to evaluate what's worked, what hasn't, and what changes you can make moving forward. When you take the time to assess your progress, you gain valuable insights into your strengths, challenges, and patterns of behavior. These insights form the foundation for creating meaningful goals that align with your vision for the future. Consider the example of Emma, who spent a year working on her personal development. She began with small habits, like journaling for 10 minutes a day and exercising 3 times a week. Over time, these habits evolved into significant achievements. She felt more confident, had more energy, and was more organized in her daily life. At the end of the year, Emma took a week to reflect on her progress. She revisited her journal entries, celebrated her milestones, and identified areas where she could improve. This process of reflection gave her a sense of accomplishment and inspired her to set new goals for the coming year. Reflection wasn't the end of Emma's journey. It was the bridge to her next chapter. The next step after reflection is planning forward. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires intention and action. As you plan for the future, it's important to build on the habits and lessons you've learned so far. This means setting clear, achievable goals and creating a roadmap for how to reach them. When you align your goals with your values and long-term vision, you create a sense of purpose that drives you forward. Let's look at another example. Daniel, a professional looking to advance in his career. After spending months improving his skills and networking, Daniel realized that he needed a clear plan to achieve his next career milestone. During his reflection, he identified the specific skills he wanted to develop and the steps he needed to take to position himself for a promotion. He set short-term goals such as attending industry workshops and completing a certification program, as well as long-term goals, like taking on leadership roles within his organization. By creating a detailed plan, Daniel turned his aspirations into actionable steps, and his progress became more focused and intentional. Planning forward also requires flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances can change. While it's important to have a plan, it's equally important to remain adaptable. Embrace the mindset that growth is a continuous process, not a fixed destination. This perspective allows you to navigate setbacks with resilience and adjust your approach as needed. Flexibility doesn't mean abandoning your goals, it means finding new ways to achieve them when obstacles arise. A key component of sustaining growth is celebrating your successes along the way. Recognizing your achievements, no matter how small, reinforces the habits and behaviors that have helped you grow. Celebration isn't just about feeling good, it's about acknowledging your efforts and building momentum for future success. Each milestone you reach is a reminder of your capability and commitment, and it motivates you to keep moving forward. Now, let's put this concept into action. Take some time to reflect on your journey so far. What habits have you developed? What challenges have you overcome? What achievements are you most proud of? Write down your answers, and don't shy away from celebrating your progress. Next, think about your goals for the future. What do you want to achieve in the next year, 5 years, or even 10 years? Break these goals down into smaller, actionable steps and create a plan for how you'll work toward them. As you move forward, remember that growth is an ongoing journey. There will always be new challenges to face, new skills to learn, and new goals to pursue. By staying intentional about your growth and remaining committed to your vision, you can continue to build a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. Reflection and planning are not one-time activities. They are practices that you can return to regularly to ensure you're staying on track and moving in the right direction. In conclusion, sustaining growth requires a balance of reflection and forward planning. Take pride in how far you've come, and use that pride as fuel for your future endeavors. Growth is a lifelong process, and each step you take is an opportunity to learn, improve, and evolve. As you close this chapter, remember that the tools you've learned in this book are always available to you. Use them to create a life of purpose, resilience, and success. Your journey doesn't end here. It's just the beginning of what's possible. Conclusion. Congratulations on reaching the end of Success Shift. Cultivate growth through daily habits. Throughout this book, you've learned the power of small shifts, the importance of a growth mindset, and the value of persistence, patience, and intentional planning. Each chapter has provided you with tools and strategies to create habits that align with your goals and sustain meaningful progress in your life. By embracing these lessons, you're building a foundation for long-lasting success. Thank you for taking the time to explore this journey of personal growth. If you found this book helpful, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Your growth inspires others, and together, we can continue to create a community of success and positivity. Thank you, and here's to your continued success.